Hello, everybody, and welcome into Perspectives. I'm Sam Jones. In celebration of Women's History Month, RSU Public TV will be airing documentaries on Tuesday evenings highlighting the contributions of women throughout history, through right up to and including today. One of the documentaries is titled Pioneers in Skirts. We'll be visiting with the writer-director today, but first, let's take a look at this preview.
This is the calculator. These make the years move. They pushed it!
You guys know that a lot of girls get interested in this stuff and then later they don't do it?
Really? Well, when I think of something that I want to grow up in and I confirm it, I try to do everything I can to make sure I complete that goal.
Progress for women has stalled out over the last decade.
The game is rigged.
We're moving in the wrong direction.
I can't believe that women your age still have to go through what I had to go through.
I'm tired of feeling like I'm not in control of my career. And I bet other women are too. I went out to understand what are those challenges obstructing women as they journey on their career path. How do we identify them? And how do we put an end to them?
I didn't think I couldn't until I got out in the real world and they were like, but you're a woman. And I'm like, yeah.
They allowed this socialization to beat them down.
Everybody knows what a strong woman is called. It rhymes with bitch.
Why aren't we looking at the man and holding him to the same high standard we're holding women to?
I mean, they don't like it when they look around and all they see are other men. I think it makes them feel like jerks, right? And they're not jerks. They care very deeply. They don't know what to do.
Having a baby won't affect my work, but I know it's going to affect the perception that others have on me being able to achieve my work.
Probably why those other girls never came back. They probably had this frustrating experience and said, you know what, I don't want to work for that company anymore.
Women are conditioned to think, yeah, you can do anything you want, but don't forget about this and this, be likable, look good, don't forget to aspire to have a family and all this kind of stuff. So basically pull the ambition back a little bit.
Girls have such a harder chance in the world of becoming great.
The white-haired men that are still out there in the engineering firms are going to give her a hard time because they're scared of her.
You expect in your mind to be able to do a job and just be you, and then you are confronted with the reality that other people don't view it that way.
We're not going to negotiate our way out of the situation. We're not going to negotiate our way to gender equity in the workplace. There is bias in the culture. It's not you. I mean, we have to change the system. We have to change the organizations. No one single thing will dissuade a woman or a younger woman from pursuing a career, but you have to think over time, all these seemingly small disadvantages accumulate. Let's not fool ourselves. There's absolutely tons of work to do still in terms of gaining equity in the workplace.
There are some things that simply have to be overcome.
I'm going to put myself out there. If I get out, I get out, but I'm here to be a part of it. I'm here to have a voice. We all have a role to play in the solution. We can be the pioneers of change.
Pioneers in Skirts. Don't miss it. I'm telling you, it's worth your time. And it airs on Tuesday, March 14th at 9 o'clock here on RSU TV. Our guest for this segment is the writer-director of Pioneers in Skirts, and it's Ashley Maria. Ashley, good to see you, kid.
Hello, how are you? Thanks for having me.
Welcome to have you. You're all the way out in California, right?
Yes, I am.
A lot of snow out there?
It's nice and cold. Yeah, very, very cold. I think it was in the 30s yesterday, and we did not know how to handle it.
Wow. We didn't know how to handle earthquakes until recently. Okay, I got to ask you, how in the world did you come up with the idea to do this?
Pioneers in Skirts started because I was trying to figure out a solution for myself. I saw how I was being treated as a woman in this industry, in the film industry. I was being called a woman director, not just a director, and I was being expected to jump through hoops I didn't understand. And so I started asking questions, and then it really ballooned from there, where we talked to not only other women in the film industry, but women in all industries, especially underrepresented groups. And we said, okay, what is it you're experiencing and what do we do about it? So a lot of Pioneers in Skirts was just trying to find solutions for me in my own career to kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel, because I've always wanted to be a filmmaker. I mean, in the film, you see me at 5 years old grabbing the camera from my mom. So it was always the dream, but I actually burnt out very quickly. And ironically, there's a lot of studies proving that women do burn out really fast when they enter their careers because of all the sexism, bias, stereotype threat, all of these things that we are up against, just taking its toll. And so we talk about that in the film. And I feel like, if anything, someone watching this film is going to go, oh, I'm not alone in feeling this. And it's not my fault. That was our biggest message we wanted to come across. But it just grew and grew and grew from me pursuing solutions for myself and then realizing it's a real cultural systemic issue.
You know, it seems to me like the generic comeback to this should be, yeah, but you're just a guy.
What do you mean?
What's the difference? I mean, sexism works both ways. And it's really not fair what women have to go through in any industry.
Sure. Funny enough, some of our biggest supporters are actually men, because we don't point fingers at anyone. You know, we're all kind of conditioned to think certain ways, and we don't even realize it's happening. And that's why it was important to us that people feel like, you know, there are ways to change. It's not dead in the water, you know, it's like there is hope. We can do this.
Is this, in your opinion, is this a sexism based on fear?
No, I would say it's a sexism based on assumption. It's you know, just assuming that, you know, I'm a director of romantic comedies when actually I really love directing horror. You know, it's I think it's just a lot of assumptions that are placed on women, that it's what unconscious bias is. It's how we interact with the world. It's how we try to understand the world quickly. And so that's why it's so hard. Until you've acknowledged that that's what's happening, it's so hard to really shift. Like, you have to make the unconscious bias conscious.
Did your mother experience the same sort of sexism that you've seen?
So she is, first of all, the producer on this film. She comes
Sweet.
from a marketing background, international background. And she would tell me stories of how her boss would have her, you know, spin around so he could see her dress, see what she's wearing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's crazy, you know, but that's kind of what's happening now. It's just less obvious. There's little subtle comments, a little this, little that. And so when she heard what I was going through, she said, this sounds a lot like what I went through in my career, you know, X amount of years ago, and it's not changing. If anything, it's even more damaging because we have all this rhetoric out there telling us it's fine. And so I think maybe in the last 5 years, ironically, as we were almost done making the film and releasing it, people started to notice, oh, they were onto something. We shouldn't have told them to stop, and we should have supported them.
Really? Well, this documentary that you put together, Pioneers in Skirts, is an award winner already. You've racked up an impressive number of awards. A lot of people are paying attention to it. That's got to give you hope. Is there going to be a part 2?
Well, I think part 2 for me is pursuing my next project, pursuing my career. Like I said, I want to direct horror, comedy. I want to direct so many projects that help to educate people subtly about these issues that we talk about in Pioneers in Skirts, but I consider myself actually more of a narrative director. I had to make Pioneers in Skirts to just kind of process what I was going through. I think I'm so lucky that I had the chance to make it, because I think I'm further along than I could have been had I not made this film. So I think part 2 is really like you coming to the theater to see my next superhero movie or something.
Sweet. Love the idea. Ashley, thank you for taking time to visit with us, and thank you for what you've done. Thank you for what you're doing, and I'm so proud I got the chance to meet you.
I'm so happy to be here. I hope everyone watches it and tell me what you think.
Maybe we'll do it again.
I'd love it. I'd love it. Okay.
See
Thank
you
you for
next
having
time.
me. Thank you.
Pioneers in Skirts. Remember, it airs on Tuesday, March 14th at 9 o'clock here on RSU Public TV.